Africa. Tell me how you're doing. Welcome to Trendz, your entertainment news pit stop here on the SABC News Channel. I'm your host. So glad that you could take this journey into the mesmerizing world of showbiz with me, Refilwe Moiloa, week after week, as we wrap up what's been a fantastic Africa month, looking at the positives while still being cognizant of the long road and achievements we still have to overcome. Our continent is one of pride, joy, and of course, entertainment. Now, it's the weekend of the South African Music Awards out at the City of the Sun. We will get you some news from our correspondent, Selepe Maifadi, in a bit. And Johannesburg, you could never be left out. There's an Africa Day concert taking place tonight in Newtown. Swaziland's Bushfire Festival kicked off to an amazing start. And in Durban, the Zakifo Festival is going down. Tweet us at Trendz on SABC and let us know where you'll be tonight partying. Now, in our first story, the SAMA 23 Lifetime Achievement honors innovative and creative geniuses who for decades have blazed the trail in different musical genres. Now, this year, the unrivaled queen of gospel, Dr. Sisribs, Refilwe Moiloa, pioneer of kwaito and jazz and one of the founders of the epic galore jazz records, Bradon Laka, and the first blind South African musician who pioneered a way for many disabled artists in South Africa like Steve Gegana and Tate Babsi Mlangeni will be honored. Our producer, Selepe Maifadi, caught up with them earlier this week to find out how they feel about this fantastic accolade.
South Africa's musical maestros have influenced the sounds of Mzansi's music genres for generations and are now honored with the Lifetime Achievement Award at the 23rd Annual South African Music Awards. The Queen of Gospel, Mam Refilwe Moiloa's powerful voice has transcended throughout the continent for over 3 decades. Her musical story began in 1984 at the age of 18. Her burning desire to become South Africa's most celebrated and admired songstress has awarded her many accolades in the gospel genre in South Africa. In the 1970s and 80s, a blind musician, Babsi Mlangeni, born in 1943 in Soweto, drew inspiration from those who made music with a disability. He forged on with the dream. He defined and still continues to use his voice to spread compelling messages of our nation. He too is a recipient of this Lifetime Achievement Award.
I really feel great. In fact, I didn't expect it. It just came as a surprise. Though younger musicians than me received this Lifetime Achievement Award, but I kept on asking my question, when is my chance going to come? Well, here it is. And it was not easy, but I think it was worth it, because in my journey, I was able to inspire some of the disabled musicians, especially blind musicians like me. This award really, I'm really thrilled, humbled, and otherwise. And I must thank God for this opportunity.
The pioneer of kwaito jazz, Don Laka, is also a recipient of this award. The Pretoria-born jazz musician, songwriter, and music producer dabbled with the influences of kwaito and defined a sound for generations, and also produced some of the most iconic artists we now know and love.
The younger musicians that we discovered, like your Boom Shakas and Tebe and Afigizol and so, it showed the level of creativity Galawa had when we brought that. I mean, we built musicians from nowhere, just got talent and brought it in. So, you know, I think in that perspective, we were, you know, pioneering new generation of new music in the country, and it helped to grow the music called kwaito. And that's where I took the elements and put into my music and called it kwaito jazz. you know, it's a typical South African music. That's the most important thing for me. Quiet Jazz was fashioned, branded, made in South Africa. And it's got a lot of elements that are South African, Kwela, Marabi, and Guma music.
In 6 weeks, he will be dropping his latest project celebrating 45 years in the industry.
It is an exciting project to celebrate 45 years with me, and I've got some of the, probably about 6 top South African artists on there. You know, as I said, a few weeks ago, you know, I performed with a young boy called MT, and he features also on my album, and Kelu Kumalo features on the album, and other great names. I want people to go check out. I'd like to thank the summer and the people that have actually made it possible to get this award. And I know probably someone mentioned my name, and I don't know who that is. If you're there listening, thank you so much.
Congratulations to them all. Now, with preparations underway for the Salmas, we all know that you have to look on point. Otherwise, our many style critics and fashion police will eat you alive. Now, if you are making your way there this afternoon and you still don't have an outfit or are unsure about what you wanted to pull out of the closet, then this is just for you. Selepe Maifadi went to design extraordinaire Ryan Keys earlier this week with 2006 Miss SA finalist and my homegirl, Rambi Sachwaro, for a couple of red carpet looks that you can opt for tonight. Take a look.
Ryan, we're talking 23rd Annual South African Music Awards, and of course, the outfits go hand in hand with so much that's happening that night.
Yes.
So what would you say people should be looking out for or trying to wear for that event?
Everything should be a lot more classy. I noticed last year that there was a hell of a lot of people trying to push the boundaries a little bit too far, but you know, I think that it should be classy, elegant and tasteful. I mean, also classic you cannot go wrong with. Let's go and find another few.
Perfect. Oh, I'm excited.
I think you should dress for your body type. If you have got a great bust, show it off. Don't do it distastefully. Do it so that it is very, very elegant. You don't want a nip slip. You don't want any issues happening with your dress. So I would say with everything, dress according to your body. I mean, if you've got a very hourglass figure like Kim Kardashian, dress to accentuate. You don't want it so that you are showing off the wrong areas. I mean, but bring the drama. That's all I can say. Everyone needs to bring the drama. There's no point of dressing very, very toned down. If you've got a cape, do a 6-meter train cape. So take it to the next level, and I mean, you can always take it off afterwards. So with this dress, this one's still, it's sexy, it's got the sheer element to it. So you can see her skin through the whole outfit. It's still very, very, you know, it's still got that sex appeal to it. So it's almost like the whole underwear as outerwear, that whole trend that has been going around. But then it's still very, very tasteful. You know, you can't see the wrong details. You can at least see, you can see the actual cutouts here. It accentuates her bust, but not in a bad way. And then it really does. It accentuates a very, very hourglass feminine figure. No, this one is very, very sexy. Fully beaded, just showing off all the right areas. The little bit of drama down the one side.
Thank you.
Mwah.
Cheers. Cheers. So guys, as you know, today is the South African Music Awards, and I'll be presenting the red carpet and the green room. So my nails are done, the hair's ready, next is makeup. And what are you getting ready? What are you wearing? Well, check it all out on SABC 1. That's where it's gonna happen. Thank you so much, Trendz. Bye.
Thank you so much to Kanyumbao and Rambi Sachwaro. We're going to an ad break. When we come back, we're giving you more of the Salmas 23.
this professional barman would tell you is into a glass tilted at exactly 45 degrees. Oh, bless you. Bless you, sir. Bless you again. Well, we'd say the perfect way to pour a beer is at this angle. Straight into your mouth. Tops at Spa. Good beer, good advice, no Ponzi beer stuff.
Rights and recourse tackles constitutional issues.
When South Africa became a constitutional democracy, we had a fairly sound legal system in place requiring the Constitution to guide the direction in which it must go and the way in which it must be refashioned.
The Justice Ministry, the custodian of human rights.
We actually have a plan to come up with a comprehensive review of our human rights instrument.
Advocates dealing with evidence.
Sometimes you have to use a crook to catch a crook. So we expected that the credibility would really be taken to task. You try and consult your witnesses and prepare them as best as you can.
Hashtag Rights with Dumila Matez on legal issues every Sunday at 2 o'clock Central African Time.
Welcome back. You're watching Trends. Now, way too many violent attacks on women and children in various parts of the country continue to make headlines. Social media has also been abuzz with activity resulting in a number of hashtags condemning the attacks. Now, a northern KwaZulu-Natal writer and director, Xolani Makwakwa, is breaking the silence through a theatre production titled The Devil's Autograph. Now, the play currently on at Impangeni Convention Centre in KwaZulu-Natal tells a tale of how women are subjected to abuse at home and in the workplace. Please do note that the following visuals may upset sensitive viewers.
The sound of a desperate and abused woman, and often these cries are not heard. It's such horrifying acts that hit closer to home for writer and director of this theatre production, Xolani Makwakwa. His own mother has experienced abuse.
As a writer, I wanted to do something that highlights women, and she was inspiration for me to write about women abuse. It's something that I saw when I was growing up, and I decided then it is something that I'm against. And when I got the opportunity to open a society, the second thing that we should tackle, it is violence against women, which is something that is on the increase in South Africa.
If we put our heads together and fight.
The play seeks to tell a story of 3 black women who left their abusive husbands for greener pastures at the sugarcane plantations, but the grass was not greener on the other side. Launched at the Impangeni Convention Centre, The Devil's Autograph was an eye-opener to theatre goers.
I'm just so blown away with the talent that we have seen this evening perform this play and the message that it really sends out.
This is a nice platform to educate people about the woman abuse, that it's so dangerous in the communities.
And I think it's very important to have such plays, especially in rural areas. Theatre play actually plays a vital role in terms of teaching people.
Makwakwa hopes to take the play on a national tour, but needs support from local businesses and government. The Devil's Autograph will be on at the Impangeni Civic Centre until the end of June.
Sometimes women are attacked by strangers, but most of the time they are abused by those closest and dear to them.
Now, the votes are in and we are hours away from the biggest night of the South African Music Awards. The 23rd awards, to be exact, are deemed the year of the newcomer. The list of nominees is dominated by new artists who released their debut or second projects in the past year. Now, the youngins are making great strides in the music industry. And what does this say about youthful exuberance? Now, the nominees were unveiled in Kempton Park late last month. So much has happened since then, since the list came out. And yeah, our producer is in Sun City giving us the lowdown of what the vibe is like out there. Welcome, Selepe. How are you and what's going on in Sun City?
Hey Refilwe, how are you? A very good welcome to everybody at home. Hello everybody. I'm with Ms. Rats Dolamo, who is the PR comms manager here. And I'm out in Sun City, of course, at the newly refurbished Super Bowl where all the magic is going to be happening tonight. And of course, I'm with her to give us a bit of a lowdown on what we can expect tonight. Ms. Rats, so this year it's the year of the newcomer. Can you tell us about that?
It is quite an exciting year to see young people embracing the musical culture that they have. I mean, we've got youngsters in different genres making it, you know, in the world of music, in this art of music. So it is quite exciting seeing them mushrooming and their talents blossoming like that. And we're here to honor them, actually. Yeah.
But you know how a lot of people feel about the nominations. I mean, so much has happened that some people's nominations have been put out and all of that. Can you just tell us a bit about how we know that these awards are going to be fair?
The awards are going to be fair because the process from the beginning is fair. And this year we tried to share with the public what goes on behind the scenes of the summer's organizing. So the music as we receive it goes under different vetting processes and eventually reaches the judges. We don't have a telephonic voting system like other awards do, but we have a judging system. The only category that is voted for is the Record of the Year, which is still open.
So the lines are still open for Record of the Year, and if you want to vote for that person, then definitely you can still vote for the artist that you're keen on. But let's talk about what happened with the whole Nasty C thing with him and Java's videos being put in. What happened there?
Okay, what happened is that we received the videos which were done during the entry period. And part of our rules is that the video should have been aired by a broadcaster during that time period. Now, us as a organization and with the vetting committee, we tend to believe that when you submit a music video, it has gone through that, it has been broadcasted, it is during that time specification, because it's quite difficult for us to call each and every broadcaster to verify if they have flighted the music video during that specific time. But we are very fortunate because we've got South Africans that love their music, that said to us, you are lacking in your tightening of ropes. This music video has got issues. And we heeded that and we did our own investigations, and we've actually in that process changed the way that we adjudicate that particular category so that nothing like this happens again.
And talking about production, sometimes we find that award nights are not as great, like when it comes to performances, the sound glitches and all of that. How are we going to make sure that tonight everything is spliff?
Well, besides the stage itself being lit, the performances are going to be out of this world. We've got representation of each genre in the performances. I mean, we're talking your Kurt Darren, we're talking your Nezimu, we're talking, okay, fine, Lebos Khobel, I'm sure everybody's expecting her to perform. So we're talking your Babes Wodumo. You understand all those different genres. We're going to put them together in different performances, and it's going to be a show to beat all shows.
So for the 23rd annual one, we are giving an international award to an opera artist that has done so much on so many stages around the world. Can you tell us a bit about why you're honoring her?
Well, what we do is that we open, just like the entries for the albums, we invite record companies to recognize their own artists that are performing well internationally, that are representing the flag nationally. And Pretty Yende, I mean, opera, it's quite difficult to beat that music scene, that music genre. And for her, at her age, to be an international star, it just became befitting that she takes the crown. Yeah.
Well, during the week, I was speaking to Ntete Babsi Mlangeni, and he was saying just how much he feels like he's been in the industry for so long, but he's only getting this award now. Why does it take so long for people, honorees who should be getting those awards earlier in life, only getting them now?
Mm-hmm. Well, the entering the Lifetime Achievement Award, okay, we look at what your career span during the period of about 20 years. So minimum period that we recognize an artist is 20 years. And then we look at your contributions within the community, you know, different aspects of who you are as a persona that exudes that thing that youngsters want to follow. So it's not a simple process that you just pick a name and say, no, I think my lifetime achiever is so and so. We look at different aspects. And remember that the summers are only as old as the democracy. So we've got a backlog of artists that existed before that we need to actually recognize as we go on. So unfortunately, it's going to take time, but I am glad that it's taking time while he is still alive, while he can enjoy this. Yes. Yeah.
So you do know that some artists are saying they're going to boycott the awards, or if they don't win, they're not attending any awards anymore, not submitting anymore, like Bass, for instance. How do you feel about all those type of controversies?
It is quite a shame that is the way it is, but again, it's how she feels. But the thing that we try to push is that the South African Music Awards are a platform for each and every artist. We do not represent genres. We say every genre in South Africa. And we use the voting system. We use the judging system, not the voting system. And we've got criteria that we follow. So unfortunately, if you don't win, there's always a next year. Yeah. But celebrate the winnings of your fellow artist. That's what it's all about. Yeah.
So there you have it. It's the year of the newcomer. We're out at the Summers at the newly refurbished Super Bowl. So production is on point, right?
Production is on point. If you cannot be here, then better watch Mzansi for sure, SABC 1 at 8 o'clock, and see the glitz and glamour that comes with the show.
Okay, so we can't wait for that. We're going to be out on the red carpet, behind the scenes. The hosts also, Somizi and Tumi Morage.
Can you imagine that combination? I mean, they are both hilarious people, but they can also keep a crowd. So, yeah, I think the combination is going to keep not only the audience inside attentive, but also entertaining our audiences at home. So stay glued to your TV. Don't switch that down.
Well, you heard it from Osred. It's going to be super, 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 super lit tonight. So stay tuned and check it out. Well, it's all from me and Osred. Back to you in studio.
Thank you so very much, Selepe. As you heard, SABC 1 tonight, 8 p.m. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. You will have Wu Shem meets Haweng. It's going to be amazing. That's the Summers 23. Now, Soweto Fashion Week is a platform for upcoming and a few established designers in South Africa. Now, in its 6th year, the fashion extravaganza aims to introduce a change in the face of the modeling and fashion industry. This year's theme is black and white, and the phenomenal Fashion Week kicked off its runway with a showcase of 18 collections from their autumn-winter range by established as well as young, talented designers. I'm here joined by a designer as well as a representative from Darling Hair, which is one of the principal sponsors for this amazing extravaganza. Welcome, Snare, and welcome, Jimmy, to studio.
Thank you.
Tell us about, I mean, since Thursday, you guys are looking so composed, but it has, I'm sure, been one chaotic week. Tell us about Soweto Fashion Week. Snare, let me start with you.
It's been hectic, the preparation, the rehearsals, but it's been fun. And for me personally, I've learned quite a lot.
Is this your first Soweto Fashion Week?
It's my first ever.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, so, well, are the butterflies over?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm still going through the phases.
And talk about, you know, autumn, winter. What, I mean, I'm seeing you here dressed looking lovely. And, you know, the coat jacket that you have on works well, whether it's summer or winter. So are we moving away from your dull colors, your grays, your browns, your blacks, the normal stuff? Are colors now, you know, part of the winter ranges?
Yes, color is definitely part of the winter range. For me personally, I like the African colors, the vibrancy. And when you implement them into the winter collection, it just brings out so much pizzazz.
Awesome. Jimmy, you are representing Darling Hair, and we have actually two models in studio who have also been styled by you. So being hairstylist extraordinaire, tell us about hair trends and what people should do and shouldn't do this coming winter season.
Well, at the moment, people are going towards naturals more. So they are looking for those products who give them a natural feel and look. So if you can see from one of my models, I have a natural look, which is in a very warm African color. And I sort of have another avant-garde look. Also gives you an African feel because I have braids. And I just gave it a little bit of an edge because it is Soweto Fashion Week. So, yeah.
Okay, so yes, as you say, you've given them a bit of an edge. Of course, you can't just go to your day-to-day job looking like, especially the other lady, you know, with the headpiece. So that's for the runway.
That's
but
for the runway,
what else? Talk to us about, you know, as you say, women are going more natural and they're trying to, you know, protect their hair. So protective hairstyles are a big thing for winter, because even if you do want to weave and, you know, wig and anything else, underneath, what's key in protecting our natural hair?
Definitely, yeah. Protective styling is very trending right now because a lot of women do want to protect their hair. So we do use a method called crocheting. It works with a number of our range from our out of Africa range. Like, for instance, your vibration, darling vibration, you can use crochet to install it, which it minimizes the tension that it requires on your natural hair.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, Sneh, yeah, your dress sense and also your hair is basically everything that Soweto Fashion Week is about. And just, your the other people who've been showcasing, what have you learned from them?
I've learned how to mix different fabrics, the preparation, how to organize your choreography, especially when I was part of the showcasing yesterday. And from what they've gone through, their experiences within the fashion industry, they've taught me quite a lot. And I'm very appreciative of the opportunity that I've gotten, and I'm grateful.
And to you?
We work with different people. Every season is different. You meet amazing people like my lovely designer here. It's a lot of designers, it's a lot of work, but we learn a lot from there. And as a company, Darling also grows from this particular thing. And we love it because it's uplifting up-and-coming designers and aspiring models. So that's why that's the number one thing that makes us as a company, Darling, keep having this partnership with Soweto Fashion Week.
Okay, I see more models. Talk to us about them.
Okay, again, that is runway ready. It's for runway. As you can see, it's very out there. It's meant for attention grabbing. And the other model there is your everyday look. And also it's very natural. Like I said, natural looks are very trending right now. It is a natural look, and any woman can rock it. Yeah.
Awesome. And what do you hope for, Sneh, next year? Are you going to be part of Soweto Fashion Week?
I would love to be part of the Soweto Fashion Week. I'm working on a few designs for the summer collection. And I would like to ask some of the well-established designers to mentor me in the future.
Like who? Who do you look up to?
Vonnie, for starters. I had an opportunity to meet with Epitome from Charlotte, and I would like to have more opportunities to liaise with such people because they have the experience, the knowledge, and I'd like them to help me in the future to be a better designer.
Awesome. And when it comes to, international trends, what works well for South Africa as well as overseas?
We go back to color.
Okay.
Color. What I've researched is that the maroon, the reds, the vibrancy colors are back in fashion, especially for autumn and winter collections. And your big vintage look, those high-waisted pants, your peplums, they're still in fashion. It's just how you wear them.
Awesome. And just talking about hair, what do you think in terms of color? Are people more experimentative with regards to coloring their hair, putting on wigs of different colors? But what are the trends right now?
Okay. Well, if you're not brave enough to experiment with color on your natural hair, of course, you could use a Darling piece because we have a variety of colors. This season, for instance, since we are celebrating Africa Month, you are going to see a lot of African-inspired colors on our collection. at Soweto Fashion Week. We are going to have a lot of sunset-inspired colors like your burgundy and your maroons. So yeah, definitely color is in trend, yes.
Okay. And Sneha, where did you study? Or I mean, is fashion something that you were just born with? You have a flair for designing?
I still have an 8-to-5 job.
Oh, okay.
And I follow my passion after hours. This is something I feel I was born with. I get it from my mother. She's a very stylish woman. She loves color. She loves different cuts and patterns. So I've been very opportune to be aligned with people who have helped me to get this far.
Fantastic. And who are some of your style icons?
I like Thandiswa.
Okay.
Yeah. Internationally, there's quite a few. Let me not even mention.
Like who? Name names.
I'll be obvious. Beyonce.
Okay.
Beyonce. Her sister Solange, to name a few.
Okay, sure. And so, Soweto Fashion Week ends when, Jimmy?
Today,
okay.
It is the last showcasing.
I want to talk about also the pop-up sale that's going to happen.
Yes,
Please just mention that quickly.
Yes, tomorrow it is the pop-up sale that is going to be happening. So the designers that have been showcasing throughout the week are going to have like stalls where the garments are going to be up for, on sale. So yeah, people are welcome to come and check it out and see if what they like and what they don't, and hopefully buy some garments to help these designers grow.
Fantastic. Sneh, I see you wearing what is that again? Is it a tulle skirt? How do you say that?
It's a tulle skirt.
Cool. I see that also on the model who's there. So is that like the in thing right now? It's so playful though.
We're very, like with my label Snendalo, we are very whimsical and playful. We like color, anything that is girly and showy.
Okay.
That's the brand.
I definitely see that in the model that you have over here.
Yeah.
And a mix of color, a mix of vibrancy. And yeah, I mean, everybody is copying Africa right now, if you come to think of it.
Yes.
Shoes. Is there anything like shoe ranges or the sort at Soweto Fashion Week?
There are a lot of, you've got designers who are based on accessories. You get designers who do shoes. So it's a variety of designers who do different things.
Okay.
So yeah.
Thank you so very much for joining me here today. Excuse my bit of a coughing situation over here. And yeah, so that's Soweto Fashion Week. It ends on the 28th. Please do go to social media, and it's at Soweto Fashion Week. Hashtag SFWAW18. That's the official hashtag. Thank you, Sneth. Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you so much.
All right. Now, the National Film and Video Foundation, as part of Global Positioning Initiatives, hosts the South African Pavilion at the 70th Cannes International Film Festival, being held from the 17th until the 28th of May 2017. Now, the festival, which is internationally recognized as the premier film festival and marketing event, brings together filmmakers and key decision makers from across the globe, all in the name of film.
The South African Pavilion is home to all South African filmmakers in attendance, of which 7 were funded by the NFVF. The SAFTA Best Actress winner for her performance in Sync, Shoki Mogapa, is also attending the festival. The NFVF is hosting screenings of She is King, Asina Mali and Zulu Wedding.
We once again find ourselves at the Cannes International Film Festival as the National Film and Video Foundation, the agency mandated to promote the film industry. We are here leading the South African delegation to position the South African film industry to the world.
If you look at Cannes this year, it's celebrating the 70th year in existence. And coming here, we have learned a lot. You know, we have found ourselves meeting with various producers, with various writers, and all kinds of people in the industry.
Time after time, I sit thinking. She is King tells of a talented singer, dancer, actor who wants to be a star. She travels from her home in Nongoma to audition for a new musical to be staged at the Joburg Theatre, based on the life of Zulu queen Mkabayi Kajama. After a couple of detours, she lands a role in the chorus and catches the eye of the best-looking dancer in the show, charming soap star Luyanda.
Zulu Wedding is a feature film about a young lady named Lungile from KZN. When finding out that she's been promised to an 80-year-old chief, she runs away to New York to study dance, where she meets a young man who proposes, she falls in love with him, and agrees to marry this guy. As a surprise, he invites her uncle to come for the engagement party, and they agreed to come to South Africa to do the lobola, only to have the whole thing ruined by her Zulu family.
Asina Mali, inspired by Mbongeni Ngema's play, tells the story of a black struggle activist, Comrade Washington, who returns to South Africa in the mid-1980s at the height of the anti-apartheid struggle. His mission is to work with a group of black prisoners to create a musical play that recounts the experiences of the anti-apartheid rent strikes in Lamantville Township a few years earlier.
Stay tuned, we're back after this break. Welcome back. You're still watching Trends. So from the Oscar-nominated I Am Not Your Negro to Sundance winner Winnie and Nick Broomfield's brutally, excuse me, a realistic depiction of Whitney Houston's life. Whitney, Can I Be Me? These are just some of the most talked about documentaries on the international and South African circus to be screened at the prestigious and much anticipated Encounter South African International Documentary Film Festival this coming month. Now the lineup consists of over 60 acclaimed films, and it takes place from the 1st to the 11th of June at Cinema Nouveau at the V&A Waterfront and Bertha Movie House, Isi Vivana Centre in Khayelitsha in Cape Town, and the Bioscope and Cinema Nouveau out here in Rosebank, Johannesburg. I'm now in studio with two directors who'll be showcasing their films at the festival. Thank you so very much, Sfiso Kanyile and also Davison. Welcome to Trends.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic. Davison, yes. Let me start with you. Now, you are the director of a film called Troops of War. Take us into what this is all about.
So, Troops of War is an exciting project that looks or taps into the historical memory of the country. We went back into the narrative of the World War I after realizing that the war has been told from the Western lens, and wanted to tell the story of the participation of black South African soldiers in World War I, which is one of the narratives that we hadn't had much through time and history.
Very true.
So we thought we would bring this narrative, show the mirror to the people that this is the participation of black soldiers in World War I, and through the journey of Lucas Liduaba, who is my co-director and also who is in search for the truth on what really happened during World War I in terms of how black soldiers were treated. We got to learn about a very wretched past and an unfair past of black soldiers and how they contributed to a war that was not theirs.
Oh my gosh.
A war that was initiated by their colonizers, and they were forced to go and participate in this war in France and Germany. And when they were overseas, they were treated badly. they were treated as subhumans and doing menial work such as digging trenches, cooking, and making fences, and basically being dehumanized. And this is a narrative that we thought is crucial to bring back so that we preserve this memory to the people, and it's an important body of knowledge for the country.
Yeah, very, very true. Thank you so very much for that. As you say, I mean, it must have been a whole lot of research that went into this, and you rightfully say, you know, not many books and even, you know, historians tap into the fact that, you know, our people have been there as well in these historic wars, and their role, you know, has been neglected. I want to talk to you now, Sfiso. You have a film called Uprise. It's about the Soweto uprisings of 1976.
Yes, Refilwe. So we were also, you know, we're funded by the NFVF last year to produce a film about the 76 uprising. And initially we also just wanted to take an in-depth look at what happened, the events sort of leading up to the uprising on June 16. And because we felt that, you know, there wasn't much detail as to how history treats the events, we felt that, you know, when we think of June 16, we only think of the image Yaga Hector Peterson.
Yeah.
Where there's not much detail about who the student leaders were, people like Teti Mashinini and Khotso Siatlulu. So we really wanted to kind of bring those details to the fore and let South Africans mainly and international audiences know as to how those events came about.
Interesting, you know, that it is Africa Month. We are, of course, looking and celebrating, you know, how far we've come as a people, as a continent, and yet, young as both of you are, as filmmakers, it's important to you guys still to look back and go back and say, wait, but there's still more that people don't know, and that's what we are going to be passionate about. Talk to me, you know, Davison, regarding young filmmakers who maybe tend to think, you know what, we've heard the history, it, you know, it just pulls us down, it makes us, you know, reflect on how, you know, the past and the iniquities that existed have, you know, favored some and favored others, and so let's move away from that. Let's do the rom-coms, let's do love stories. But you are focused on, let's go back. Why is that important for you?
I think it's always important, I think, from an individual level to ensure that you do some retrospect on what happened to your own life, or why is your life what it is because of the past. And we have learned this from other sources. And I always talk to my colleagues that what makes Africa what it is not because we don't know what we are doing, or it's not because we're not civilized, but it's because we have a history that was disrupted. Yeah. Our way of life was disrupted. Yeah. And the people that disrupted our lives are telling their own stories from their own perspective. And we're not doing that. If we're not doing that, we won't know where we're going because we don't know our past. Yeah. So we haven't done enough. And we've had debates with my colleagues about we have told enough apartheid stories. We have told enough stories. They're not even told. If you are to look at how America does or how Europe does, every year they release something spectacular about their own history or from their own perspective about the history of Africa. Yeah. So we should do more. I think there should be more investment from broadcasters, funding agencies and filmmakers to be inspired to tell historical issues that affected Africans so that we know why our lives are what they are because of the past.
Awesome. Yeah. And for you, Sfiso, you know, where to from here, and in terms of what else are you passionate about telling through your art as a filmmaker?
I think, just as you mentioned earlier on, that there's an importance to tell our own stories and also just to tell them from our own perspective. And I also have a particular interest in historical stories, but also just, I feel like the South African film industry hasn't tapped enough into our literature. You know, I think there's a wealth of stories there. Yeah. You know, a lot of them short stories and novels that still hasn't been adapted into feature films.
Yeah, and, very true, that many of us did in primary and high school growing up.
Yeah, and I actually would like to challenge South African filmmakers to kind of sort of go back into history and into our literature and see what's available and, you know, make films based on those stories because they say something particular about our humanity as South Africans.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so very much, Sfiso Kanyile, Director of Uprise, and also Davidson Madzingwa. The Encounters Film Festival starts from the 1st to the 11th. People can go online. Do you know the social media and everything where they can get information?
Yeah, they can go online and check the Encounters page as well.
Okay, yes.
Or individual pages of
of the cinema houses
Of the
as well.
cinema houses,
Yes.
yes. And they also can, also check the films that are screening and follow the pages.
Do you guys know when your films are screening?
I do, yes.
Okay.
So my film is screening in Johannesburg on the 2nd of June at the Bioscope in Maboneng at 8:15.
All right.
And in Cape Town at the Labia Theatre on the 9th of June at 8:15, and on the next day in Kailicha at the Bertha Movie House at 10 a.m.
All right, will there be dialogues after this? Because one thing about film festivals that, is always a great thing afterwards is to engage with the filmmakers, some of, industry people, to just say, to break down and maybe just go into other avenues of the film that people might not have noticed in the film.
Yes, so we have a Q&A session after each screening. So for all screenings, there'll be a Q&A sessions, and there'll also be a masterclass on Uprise.
Oh, awesome.
On the 3rd of June at the Kote Institute in Parktown.
In Parktown. Okay, awesome. Thank you so very much. Like I said, Davison Madzingwa, Director of Troops of War. Very, very interesting story. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, and now in studio we have a musical performance that should really blow your mind. I have Music Capella in studio. Guys, take it away.
The Pan-African Parliament, as a legislative body, could go a long way in continuing to promote women's rights in all African member states.
Moon will be elected president. A decisive win by him will provide much-needed stability in South Korea.
The Deputy President and the SADC Oversight Committee have been mandated to convene a multi-stakeholder national dialogue before elections.
5 teams are trapped in the relegation mud. These include Bloemfontein Celtic, 12th on the log, followed by Chipa United, Free State Stars and Baroka, who are second from the bottom, as well as Highlands Park, who have won only 4 matches.
We're on point with breaking stories, detailed economy and sport. Tune into Midday Report every Monday to Friday from 12 p.m.
Welcome back. You're still watching Trends. So with a love for live music and a performance that spans from the days of the jazz epistles to modern-day hip-hop, the eclectic sounds of Afro jazz and soul fused with new school elements is exactly what Music Cafela is all about. Under the helm of Arafat Mpahlele, better known as Aerosol Sax, the guys are here today to celebrate the sounds and voices of Africa with us. Thank you so very much, Arafat, for joining us in studio today. Thank you for that performance. And if I am correct, it's based on a song by Abdullah Ibrahim.
That's correct.
All right. Tell us about that. And I mean, this is someone that you've looked up to your entire career.
Definitely.
So like I said, from the days of the jazz epistles, because for people who don't know, Dollar Brand since way back, you know, that was one of his first groups. So tell us about your musical journey.
Our musical journey is based on putting a team together, or a family together, and trying to revive as much music as possible from the olden days. Like, for example, Takwe. We're trying to revive them by bringing in a new sound and obviously, you know, changing the style of music as well.
All right. Yeah. And yeah, you guys you're a mix of a whole lot of things. I like that. Correct. And so that obviously gives you one advantage, being that you are very versatile and, you know, young, old people will love you. So other than, you know, songs like this, what kind of music do you also play? We
basically play fusion. I don't know what to call it, but
it's a mix.
I think it's a mix. That's why we call it Music Cafela.
Right.
It's just music only. Yeah. So we're trying to combine spices of music of different elements. And,
okay, tell us about your bandmates. They're here and they're doing
my family.
Awesome.
I love them so much. They're actually my inspiration.
That's awesome.
I work with Pushi. I work with Karabo. I work with Mpon violin. Pushi's on kajon, snare drum, congas. Karabo is on piano. Mpo is on violin, electronic violin.
Okay, and you guys have been together. Tell us about the group and its origins. How you guys, you know, did you grow up together? Do you live on the same street?
We actually come from Alexander Township.
Yeah.
And most of us grew up together. For example, me and Bushi, we grew up together. I met Mpo as well in my upbringing as well through my music journey. And now we just discovered Karabo, our young man who's also, you know, learning from us as well as we go.
Okay. Yeah. And I mean, where have you performed and who have you also, you know, studied, you know, under, if I could say, because I understand you have people, the likes of Pops Mohammed, who was just here last week, you know, who have influenced you as a musician. And you also play quite a few things. You play the saxophone, but, you know, you are very versatile in your instruments as well.
I grew up in a family where music is a big deal. Like, my dad was collecting music for many years. And through the collection that he had, I loved people like Abdullah Ibrahim, who I looked up to and I so much wanted to meet, you know. And I was so blessed to be part of the workshops that he used to do, you know, as well as, you know, being inspiring me as well.
Okay.
So through that journey, I managed to learn a lot, and I am self-taught as well through listening.
Okay,
you know,
wow.
Because of the passion
musical
and the love,
prodigy out of
Alex.
I'm
gonna learn an instrument, and you know. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you for all you do for, you know, musical history and musical culture, and the fact that you guys are all, you know, a group of young guys who are basically so proud of the musical history and heritage that we have in South Africa. Thank you so very much. We'll hear from you guys a little bit later on again before the show ends. But now, KwaZulu-Natal-born singer and songwriter Ndodla Gala has a new album titled Truth Be Told. It was launched last week at the Yamaha Theatre north of Johannesburg, and the album, which is the singer's second, infuses gospel, soul and jazz. Take a look.
She has been in the music industry for the past 4 years. Throughout that time, the 32-year-old singer has landed a number of award nominations for her debut album, Rhythm of Worship. She says her musical journey has been an exciting experience.
I was inspired by my life journey with God, my life journey from being at a young age until now. I've seen how my life has progressed since then, and I was only inspired by life itself, the challenges I went through, how I survived them. This album is actually a first note to someone who might be thinking that I want to kill myself, I can't do it anymore. You know, there are people who are living hard lives out there, who are living in hard situations, but you know what, they're making it every day because they have hope. So I want to be that hope to someone else out there, to say, you know what, you can do it. Even if you feel weak, you can be strong, just try.
Lagadla's love for music began at a very young age, but it is her involvement in the church worshipping team that made her pursue music professionally. In 2014, she released her first single titled Goodness and Mercy.
If I love jazz, if I love soul, why not fuse it in one album? Because I'm a musician as well, and I don't have to compromise myself by doing that, so why not do it?
At her album launch, Ndo invited close friends and the media. And this is what some of her friends think about her album.
A breath of fresh air. It's very authentic, it's very beautiful. I didn't hear any recycling of some old song.
Ndo will in July host different artists in a musical experience at the World of Yamaha Theatre.
Thank you so very much. It's been an absolutely amazing episode of Trendz, as always, week after week. I do have the guys here, Musicafella, who are going to play us out. They have a song titled In the Hood. That's what they're playing us out with. Go out there, go and enjoy your Africa Day and Africa Month, but always, always remember an African proverb that goes, until the lion learns to write, the tale of the hunt will always glorify the hunter. So go out there and be proud of who you are. Thank you so very much. Goodbye.